Filipino culinary and hospitality industry has certainly come a long way, but for veteran chef and restaurateur Rob Bengson, there's still plenty of room for improvement.
What I want for the Filipino food industry in 5 years is a higher level of accountability to the craft, higher level of respect to the craft. Diba? I mean, social media is there, fine, but still respect the craft. Let's keep the integrity and more collaboration. Because what I see from my students, what I see from other people, there's also crab mentality is such a prevalent thing in the food industry. It's like, can't your food be good and the other person's food be good also? It's like someone has to be bad for the other person to be good. And I think we need to get rid of that crab mentality. But there's some people who don't do that, but there's some people who practice it. So that's my hope for Filipino food scene in 5 years. More collab, more appreciation for the craft, more substance, more integrity. What makes Filipino food Filipino is a very precarious question. Because parang no matter what you answer, there's going to be a difference of opinion. Because if we can juxtapose that versus French, Japanese, Chinese, Thai, these were cultures that had royalty in them. And ultimately, it was the royal courts that cooked the best version of a country's cuisine. Diba? And then eventually, it filtered down to the aristocracy and later filtered down to the middle economy and then to the masses in the street, the peasants even sometimes. And this is the natural progression of how cuisines are built. But in the Philippines, we didn't have royalty. So what happened was, our cuisine got a little bit blindsided with the Spanish colonizers, the trade routes from China, the Silk Road, etc., etc. And you have this mix. And now, iba-iba talaga eh. It's per family eh. Diba? Mas masarap yung adobo ni ganito kaysa sa adobo ni ganyan. Diba? Pumunta ka dyan, masarap yung ganito dyan. And I find that's Filipino food. You know, it's very competitive. It's based on tastes. There was an effort to make things standard. I think it was a good intention, but it wasn't well received. Because you want to force standard on people, it's not gonna happen. So yeah, that's Filipino food for me. It's always living, dynamic. I just hope that it gets to a better place.
Chef Rob's love for food started at an early age. Since then, he's been sharing his passion to make the Filipino food industry better.
I would describe myself in chronological order. Chef first, that's how I started. And later became an educator, and then an entrepreneur, and now I'm a startup founder. I love building brands or products that help make life better for other people. So if it's the restaurant, I make life better through serving them with quality food and really good hospitality, whether it's in a restaurant or off-premise. And if it's the school, the way that I like to serve people and really put value into their lives is through like education, mentoring, helping them create a network of really good quality people. I am passionate about food because nung bata ako at malungkot ako, ang sagot lang dyan talaga ay luncheon meat fried rice with scrambled egg. And banana ketchup. And then when I grew older, I had some really weird tastes that really made me happy. And then as I grew older, my taste evolved, but food has always been there to be a comforting force in my life. So that's why I love food. So if there was a Filipino dish that would best describe my style of cooking, I would have to choose two things, And I would choose number one is inasal, because I'm Bacolod yan. And I love inasal because you can make it so humble. You can cook it literally with chicken livers or atay na manok, puwet ng manok, isol, and it's delicious. But my style of cooking, commercially, as a chef, as a professional, has always been on the premium side. And I find that inasal, because of the mix of herbs and spices and vinegars, it just stands up so well to these premium ingredients. And my second one is dedicated to my brother-in-law Vince and my sister Trissy, because they're from Davao and it's sinuglaw. And so sinuklao is basically kilawin with a little bit of coconut milk and some grilled pork. And the reason why I love it, it's so complex. There's inihaw, there's ceviche. Oh my gosh, nowhere else can you find something so amazing. Pero it requires skill to make.
In 2019, Chef Rob founded the Aleanza Institute of Arts, a culinary and hospitality school in Chino Roces in Makati.
Aleanza is a made-up word from a real European word, Aleanza with an I. It's Italian, which means alliance. And the story is, what we want to do is not fragment education and the real world as separate, but rather to put them together, an alliance nga, so to speak. No? Alianza, an alianza of education and the real world, so that the line in between is not only blurred, it's like it almost doesn't exist anymore. You know what I mean? And that the reason why that's important is because all over the world, I trained in the US, did some time in Europe. It's like that there. There's restaurants in the campus. But here in the Philippines, it's not like that. Diba? And so I believe, no, to be world class, we want to do best practices that are practiced around the world. We have short courses, long courses, professional courses, management courses, super important. Because just because you're a good chef, you could be the worst manager, entrepreneur, business, finance person ever, but cook amazing food. Diba? And you don't want that. So, very prevalent rin kasi. And the reason why I believe I'm qualified to say this, I've trained 13,000 students in my whole life. But basically, what I want to do is really help them in their life na it's not just about the craft. Because if you're so creative, but you don't know how to apply it in a practical commercial sense that adds value to paying customers, you're never going to make it. But what's going to fuel your creativity? It's commerce, it's industry, it's economy. And to be able to match creativity with commerce together, that's a key skill. We're looking to spread nationwide in the next 10 years, pari tuhulo, so to speak. And what we want in every campus is to have 1 or 2 restaurants that really showcase culinary arts, baking and pastry arts, and hospitality, management, and operations. Because we want to destroy the line that separates education and employment. We believe that that's the secret to a better future for chefs, especially Filipino chefs, because now Filipino chefs are the ones that are operating the food service industry worldwide.
Thank you for joining us for this episode, and thank you also to Kenneth Cobonquea for having us here in his beautiful showroom. Join us again next time as we give you more ideas on how to live life with style. I'm Bianca Gonzalez, and this is your ultimate guide to modern living.